good? All right, we're back again. Still not canceled, I think. Episode 18. Here with Thommy Long, LemonGrenade. Thanks for sitting down with me.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I didn't know you had such a nice view. I knew you were in this cool building, but I'd come by sooner if I knew I could get this view.
Yeah, I think we have pretty much the nicest view. We're right here on Main, basically. So we got the statue right in front of us. So yeah,
it's a good spot for sure. And you have, I don't know if it's a record or world record, but you have to have the brightest office in the Hamilton area. Bright yellow, which would make sense.
Yeah, when you create brands for other people, you better have a good brand yourself. So yeah, one of our core values is playing loud. So yeah, we have a very bright brand.
Yeah, and it makes, you do have a cool brand, obviously. The LemonGrenade, how'd you come up with that?
So I feel like I should have the story like in our waiting room or
everyone's
clients, because it's the question we get, the number one question we get. I don't know if there's like a great story behind it, but when I was in art school, let me date myself here, in the late 90s, the internet was brand new, and I knew one day that I wanted to have my own agency, my own company. So even all the way back then in college, I was always searching for names. And when the internet was brand new, one of the first websites that I remember exploring was urbandictionary.com.
Yeah,
and to this day, I'm still on Urban Dictionary for brainstorming and part of the job, copywriting, things like that. And also to keep up with what my kids are saying. They say something, I can go to Urban Dictionary and figure out what they're talking about. But anyway, back in '98, it was on urbandictionary.com. I didn't want to be Thommy Long Design because it sounds like a law firm, or it sounds like a dentist office, and I wanted to, I figured your name when you're a creative agency kind of reflects the tone of your agency. So I wanted kind of a powerful masculine name, and I typed in powerful weapon in urbandictionary.com. And one of the first slang that popped up was LemonGrenade. And it's an old kind of World War II code name for when they were building like the atomic bomb and things like
really?
that. So I just thought LemonGrenade was super cool. And I sketched a little lemon, put a little handle on it, and that sat on the shelf for whatever that was, 16 years. And when I finally decided to leave downtown Cincinnati agency life, I already had a name, so.
That's pretty cool. I think probably a good lesson for anyone out there that has a dream that it doesn't always, and I can speak for myself too, it doesn't always take fruition next Thursday or next month or even next year. Sometimes you drew out your logo and had your dream, 16 years before?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
And it took a lot of work, I'm sure. And you went to another agency and probably learned a lot, and then how'd you figure out you were ready to leap? Because I had the same thing. You always kind of had a little bit of doubt, I'm guessing, because it's scary.
Yeah, so growing up, my father had his own company. It was a handyman, general contractor. But just watching him interact with his employees and just really enjoying being his own boss, that was always kind of in the back of my mind that I wanted to do that. So after I graduated the Art Academy in Cincinnati, I worked at a lot of firms in Cincinnati, and the idea was I would be like a sponge and go to each agency, learn everything they do, learn all their practices, learn all kind of their tips and tricks, and then move on. So I think in my career, I've worked at really small agencies that are actually smaller than LemonGrenade. We're 7 people. I've worked at a 4-person firm before, and then worked at some pretty large agencies. And basically after whatever that was, 10 years of working at different size agencies, that's kind of when I decided it's time to, I was freelancing on the weekends and evenings with my 40 hours. I was also teaching college twice a week. So I was at the point where my freelance and my teaching was almost tipping my salary.
Yeah.
And I decided, this is time. I think I can pull this off. So my wife's a school teacher, and I went to her saying, I think I want to start my own agency. And to be honest, I kind of thought there would be a lot of pushback from her. Like, wait till you get your Christmas bonus, or wait for one more, and she was just like, do it. I
Yeah.
got your back. So
Pretty good.
she had the health insurance, so that was, obviously a big concern. So we went for it, and yeah, it's been next month. It'll actually be our 10th anniversary. So
It's probably another good lesson for anyone listening. If there's anybody having a good partner, my wife was the same when I said I want to quit a big law firm, start my own. It was scary, but she didn't really hesitate. Just kind of knew I could do it, I guess, or had belief in me. So it sounds like you kind of had that. It'd be a lot harder if you didn't, I would suppose.
yeah, and the biggest advice I would give someone that's thinking about going on their own is to set a date. I talked to a lot of business coaches and a lot of professionals that was kind of mentoring me, and they're like, if you don't have an exit strategy, if you don't actually put a date set in stone, you're never going to do it. So May 31st, 2014, I had it 6 months on the calendar. That's so I made sure I had clients. I made sure I had the equipment. I didn't want to quit my comfy salary job with benefits and then now what? I don't have any clients or anything. So, but yeah, that's a just really good advice is to set a date if you're going to do it.
Yeah, because there's always going to be a reason not to if you haven't made up your mind. It's never a perfect time for anything.
Exactly.
What have you learned? I mean, you learned a lot at the other firms about, I'm guessing, design and marketing, all the things you are an expert in. But when you become a business owner, I already know that there were some things you probably didn't know, because owning a business is a different animal altogether. What's some of the things you've learned just as a business owner, Thommy, instead of designer, that you think would be good for people to hear?
I had 0 business classes, courses. I didn't take any in college. So basically, when it was just me, I knew, like you said, I knew the design side. I knew logo design, advertising, marketing, inside and out. But as far as business, I really had no clue what I was doing. And my philosophy back then was, there's more money coming in than going out, you're doing okay.
Yeah.
And I think once I hired a business coach and kind of opened up all the books of how I do things and stuff like that, I think that's probably one of the best things I've done for LemonGrenade, was hiring a business coach and teaching me multiple accounts and how to do this and how to forecast certain busy seasons and trends and things like that. The one thing that I learned from my previous jobs, to me, is more of what not to do. I don't have any regrets of my career path, but I was miserable at my last gig. I was there for 11 years. And to me, culture is very, very important here. So I'm kind of trying to do the opposite of the environment that I was currently in.
Yeah.
So, everything here is very, even though I'm the boss, everything's kind of, it's a democracy around here as far as clients we work with, people we hire. I might interview someone, but then the second I have them come in for a second interview and I'm not in that interview, and my entire team interviews that person, because culture is very important to me. I've turned away some of the most talented designers because I knew, they wouldn't be a good fit here, or they, the personalities here. So that was a big thing for me, was learning how to manage people.
It's hard.
The first year of LemonGrenade, it was me out of my house. And within the first 6 months, I needed to start hiring full-time people. So that was kind of the biggest learning curve or whatever, was learning how to hire people and not just be me.
Yeah. And what about Hamilton? I mean, what made you want to put your office right here in downtown Hamilton?
Well, first off, I'm a Butler County boy. I've never left Butler County. I was raised originally in Fairfield, so I went to kindergarten, K through 12 in Fairfield. My dad is from Hamilton. My grandmother's from Hamilton. And when I graduated college, I actually bought the house my dad grew up in Lindenwold, and lived there. So I've never left Butler County. When I went to college and got my first job, obviously you go where the work is, and with P&G and all the big players in downtown Cincinnati, that's just where I went.
Yeah.
So when I decided to go to my own about 10 years ago, I was thinking about where to open shop, and for a brief moment I thought about Cincinnati, but I could be a very small fish in a really big pond. And just having a couple conversations with family members, it was just real obvious that Hamilton was the next big thing as far as Southwest Ohio. It really was kind of the next over the Rhine as far as the history and the architecture, and so I started looking around Hamilton. Actually, one of the very first connections ever for me in Hamilton was my Dingle Dine, which is literally right across the street.
You can see him.
And I've told this story many times, but kind of out of the kindness of his heart, he met me on a Saturday and just showed me properties all over Hamilton. And I actually kept circling back to this building. We're in the Robinson Swin building, and I kept looking back at this building saying, man, I really love that building. And Mike said, well, I know, the landlords, and you might be surprised, you might be able to afford it. So I've been in this building for 9 years, but kind of I know this is a long-winded answer to a simple question, but I wanted to be in Butler County. What's great about Hamilton and Butler County is there's a really great sense of community. So when we started 9 years ago, our client list just took off. Like Fit & Center was one of our first clients, Miami, Butler Tech. Pretty much you go up and down the street here, we work with everybody here. So I really like the fact, not just Butler County, but specifically Hamilton is everyone likes to work local and to hire local. So it's been really good for us. We're in Cincinnati, we're competing against all these other firms, and in Hamilton, everyone embraced us, and we pretty much hit the ground running and started working with everyone in town pretty much.
Yeah, I remember, hearing that you guys were in existence about that, I was like, that's cool. Marketing or design company in Hamilton, I thought it was cool. So it stood out to me, and I think probably to a lot of other people. We've used you for a few things along the way too. So I know you've helped us on a few things. Maybe that's a good segue. What kind of things do you do? I know obviously working for a big company with a giant marketing campaign would be great. You probably take those, but you help small businesses with even smaller deals that maybe they might not be aware. So kind of go over some of your things you guys are experts in.
So my elevator pitch, the quick 30-second elevator pitch is, I kind of explain LemonGrenade as we work in kind of two buckets. One is branding, so it's logo development, it's brand standards guide. It's anything to do with your brand. When I was starting my career, you would get hired to do a logo, and then you would never hear from the client again. Now it's all about relationships, kind of long-term partnerships. So a brand is a lot more now than just a logo. It's how you answer your phones. It's what wall color, accent wall color. It's how you address complaints on social media. So it's a brand is everything about your business. So LemonGrenade, we are a branding agency, and then we are also, the other bucket is a marketing agency. So branding is usually a new company or someone who's going through a rebrand. On the marketing side, we work with established brands and work on campaigns or work on just the overall day-to-day marketing and advertising. So we work with established brands like, once again, Butler Tech, Spooky Nook, and Fit, and we're their agency on record, so we do everything for them.
They have a new show or event, you're going to be involved in that with the flyers and all that stuff.
Yes,
I'm guessing. Gotcha.
Absolutely.
Like an ongoing thing. But you also will, if there's a new small business out there that just wants a logo, you will just do a one-off logo for someone.
Yeah, absolutely. We work with very small, restaurants, or for example, Sarah. I'm just using her as an example because I'm looking right out the window with Wildfire. Very, a small boutique shop that she needed brand and identity. So yeah, I'm very kind of territorial when it comes to Hamilton. I get upset when, I don't know if this is a good personality trait or a bad personality trait, but if I work with everybody, I'm okay, but it's the one person that's not using us, I'm like, why don't they like us, kind of thing. So yeah, I work with lots of small clients as well. I will say on the flip side, our 3 biggest clients are actually in Washington, D.C., Chicago, and LA.
That's pretty awesome. Right out of Hamilton. So, I think people will be happy to hear that anyway. Because
Yes.
you don't have to do everything here. So
Yeah.
How do you get business like that? All right. Don't give your secrets away.
No, I won't give any secrets away. I will say we've been very fortunate in the history of LemonGrenade that the majority of our new clients come from referrals. So we've never really done a direct marketing campaign for new business. It's usually been, it's about relationships. It's about partnerships. We've been really fortunate where someone likes working with us, and so for example, the Washington DC client, our biggest client, he was a local client, and he ended up taking a job in DC and said, hey, there's this agency in Ohio, in Hamilton, Ohio. We really like working with them. They're very affordable. They got, kind of Midwest pricing.
Yeah, makes sense.
And I really want to work with them. Same thing with our other 2 big clients in Chicago. Someone here from Cincinnati Children's that we worked with for years and years took a job in Chicago and said, hey, there's this firm in Ohio that I really want to work with. So yeah, a lot of it's been referrals.
Yeah, Hamilton, I'm glad you touched on it. It's a good place because there's enough going on here to sustain a business, but with the ability to maybe price a little bit better than big cities, almost kind of gives you advantage in a way if you can get an in.
Yeah, when we price things out for LA clients, sometimes they respond too quickly.
Yeah.
I give them a price, and they're like, okay, how fast can I sign this? So I know, we're a very profitable company. Don't get me wrong there, but we are have that kind of Midwest pricing structure. So it's been really good for our growth for some of the larger markets because they're getting the same quality work. One thing that a lot of agencies cannot do is they can't produce good work and produce it fast. And I feel like we do that very well. We have some very high demand clients that need things turned around very quickly. Most big agencies, they have the different layers of red tape where it goes to an account exec, which goes to a traffic manager, which goes to the creative director, and it might be a week before it gets down to the creative. What's great with working with LemonGrenade is you can pick up the phone, you can email us, you can. Everyone here on staff is a creative, so we don't have a studio manager, we don't have account executive. So it's almost like everyone's kind of running their own clients.
Okay.
So that's really helped speed up projects, and clients know that they can reach out. We've had a brewery client on a Friday at 3 say, hey, we were just invited to Jungle Gems for pint night. And I know it's 3, but can we have posters, this, and this designed by 5? And what's great is usually we can turn those around.
But it's better if you ask earlier, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's not a dream situation,
but you can get it done.
Yeah.
It's because everyone here that they're talking to is actually can design. They're not just a sales force.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and that also helps with our pricing structure and our our operating costs. That everyone here is a creative. Everyone here has a billable rate, so there's not a lot of overhead for
Is that rare in marketing companies and branding companies?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. The short answer is yes.
Okay.
Since I taught for 7 years at university level, one kind of unique approach that I take is I run my studio like it's a classroom. So all my creatives here usually work on every project. So if there's a new branding project, a new logo project, usually everyone will work on it. And we will all have an internal critique and put everything up, and we'll go through it. So it's very much like a classroom. So I'm kind of going all around the world here. What was the?
No, yeah, it was about the not having the sales force. Everyone here is a creative, and it kind of helps.
I mean,
you.
It has its challenges too. Don't get me wrong. There's challenges when there's not an account executive. So sometimes we have to wear many hats and think like an account executive, or think like what traffic and scheduling and calendars and things like that. My role as creative director, so I went to art school, I went to school to be a graphic designer, but I have kind of shifted in the last few years of being, I almost look at myself as like a head coach to an NFL team. It's like maybe I was the star player 10 years ago, but now I'm more of a coaching role. So I kind of call the plays, I do the strategy for LemonGrenade, but I have such a talented staff here. They're way better designers than I am. So yeah, it's just changed a little bit.
Yeah, I think it happens with the career. I mean, I'm kind of maybe in the middle of that in my business too, because I don't take every call or case like I used to, and other people are doing. And it's kind of fun to see people progress.
It's very scary. Like when I first started LemonGrenade and hired my first person or first couple of people, I was terrified of giving control. Every time I went on vacation, I was like, I'm not going to have a company when I get back. It's just, and now I have such a great crew that I feel like I could take a long leave of absence and everything will be fine. So it's just learning a little bit to.
It takes a lot of work to get there on the team and on yourself, I think, to kind of be able to let go. It is scary. It still scares me sometimes, but people can do more than you think sometimes.
Yeah, and it's like, well, it's my baby. I got to make sure I run everything, and it's like, I look at my role now as kind of big picture. I'll sketch things. I'll nothing goes to the client without my approval, but it's got to the point where our clients are getting bigger and bigger and demanding more things that they have the more freedom of reaching out directly so yeah,
this is part of the growth. You kind of have to grow as a person, as a leader and a business owner. I don't think it ever ends either. So I mean, we come back 10 more years, might be something totally different. I'm going to give you one shout out. I know last year you did the LemonGrenade, which is another creative name, of course.
Thanks.
Perfect. But explain what that is and what you guys are doing with that.
Yeah, so I'll give you a little bit of background. During COVID, when that first hit, and ironically, one of our senior designers here, she was predicting it. She was like, hey, there's this thing going on in the world and it's going to shut everything down. We just kind of, it was just giving her some crap about it. Like, nah, it's never going to happen, whatever. She's like, no, this is kind of happening. And then it did. So when things first started shutting down in 2020, what we started noticing is everyone stopped spending money. It's like, we're not spending a dime, we're not doing marketing, we're not doing anything. So I had two challenges. One is I didn't want my team to freak out that we didn't have work. And I wanted them to continue to flex their creative muscles, because I didn't want them not working, not producing, because that's what we do. So we came up with the idea of, there's all these businesses that are struggling right now. They can't afford us right now. But what if we kind of work on the low-hanging fruit, which is like social media? There's not a whole lot, besides our talent or whatever, there's not printing costs, there's not it's basically digital media. It's social media. So we came up with the idea in 2020 to do, we named it Free Lemonade. So the idea was, if you were a nonprofit in Butler County, we would do all your social media marketing. I don't know, I can't remember now if we had a timeline or what, but we clocked in hundreds of hours and worked with over 100 nonprofits. We didn't do it for press. We didn't do it to get recognition or anything. It was just, but it turned out that way, which was awesome for us. We weren't expecting it, but a few media outlets picked up on it, and there's a few stories on it. But what it did is it allowed my crew to work on brands that they've never worked on before. And also it allowed all these nonprofits to see their brand in a whole new light. They could never afford a creative agency. So now we're showing them, hey, your brand could look like this, or what if we pushed it in this direction? One of the cool results was some of these nonprofits that we helped, actually, when things got better and the world started opening back up, they hired us to be their creative agency. But overall, the original Lemonade program was just to keep my crew busy, and just the worst thing you can do as a business owner, our clients, is to not do anything during the pandemic. You have to say, hey, my restaurant's still open. Hey, we're still doing DoorDash. Hey, and no one was doing that. It's like, you still have to communicate to your customers. So Lemonade has then now evolved. So now what we're doing is we still have our rules. It's got to be a nonprofit. But every year now we pick a local nonprofit, and we just basically kind of adopt them for the year, and we do all their creative work for a year. So it's not just social media. It can be, however, we basically put a dollar amount per month.
Yeah.
I think it might be around $1,000 mark per month. So a $12,000 grant, basically. And then we work with that nonprofit, and we don't do any other work. We just kind of pick that one client for the year. And then it's that calendar year, January to the end of the year.
It always ends up paying off, even if it's just keeping your staff busy and flexing their muscles, like you said, or makes you feel good helping people. I mean, usually anytime we kind of give people shout outs, and we spend quite a bit of money just doing videos for other people, and it's kind of fun. And sometimes it comes back and helps us later. You just never know who's going to need help later. And if it doesn't, I think if you're not doing it for that reason, some of us even does that much better, and probably more likely it ends up helping you down the line, honestly. Just how it seems like it works, put out a lot of good vibes, and people know when you're trying to help.
It's like you said, good vibes. It's doing the right thing. It's what we have to offer our services. It's talent based. It's some people can draw, some people can't. That kind of thing. So really, the overhead for us to do the Lemonade program, it's not a lot of out-of-pocket expense. It's time.
Yeah.
Time and talent. But yeah, we really enjoy giving back to the community and just working with a nonprofit that's never really worked with an agency before.
So you started off, you said the story about how you came up with LemonGrenade. I figured it was something you thought of a month or two before you got in business, but you had that 16 years before, so you had this dream. What's been different about it? What's surprised you, good or bad, about owning a business, if anything, that you wouldn't have known when you came up with the name 26 years ago, I guess, now you came up with the name?
Well, I think the biggest thing that I've learned is my previous jobs, like I said, I wasn't always miserable, but when I started LemonGrenade, we have fun here. We really do. There's Nerf bullets flying over people's heads. We do goofy things, like we have show and tell. So one Wednesday a month, we act like we're in kindergarten. Someone brings in something from their house. Usually it's some kind of sentimental attachment to childhood or whatever.
That's pretty cool.
We have Hump Day Hunger Games, where we put restaurant names in a hat and we pull. So to me is, that your workplace can be fun. And that was very important to me, as I wanted LemonGrenade to be the place that I always wanted to work for. So culture is really, really important to us. We'll do trips to Kings Island, or we'll take the afternoon and go thrift shopping. If there's not a whole lot going on, we'll, as a team. And I really, really wasn't expecting that. To me, in my past, you go to your job, you work 8 hours, you go home, and you don't think about work anymore. And what I really like about my team now and what we've been able to do is it really is kind of, I know it's cliche, but we are kind of a family. It's like there's crew out there that have shared YouTube channels. They are in book clubs. Even previous employees who's left, they always leave on good terms. I mean, we celebrate them, and we take the day off, and we do all these things, and the door is always open for people to return. But even celebrations and weddings and birthdays, so that was kind of the biggest thing for me as far as the change from my previous career to now is it can be fun. I wake up every day with a smile on my face, and going to work every day is like it's never been for the last 10 years. It's every day is a new day and different challenges, and I never wake up in a bad mood anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I like going to work too. I don't know what my team would do if I made them do show and tell. I might try. I think it's pretty funny. If nothing else, it's a pretty good idea. You guys, of course, are going to have the creative ideas. That's what you guys do. So I'm not surprised. Hump Day Hunger Games, is that what you called it? Might
Hump Day Hunger Games. We have a thing.
The trademark?
No,
all right.
We have a thing called Photoshop Fridays, where I give them a really just goofy story with lots of very specific things. And then they have to Photoshop that story into one image. And when they do that, then they can leave early on Friday. We do goofy things like that. We've done things where we bought or got a delivery from every pizza place in Hamilton and just had a taste test that day to vote on stuff like that. So we like to do a lot of just kind of goofy.
Well, we're not far away. Invite me over next time you got something real fun going on, Tommy. If you got anything else to add, I mean, I'm really appreciative of you giving us some of your time. I know you guys are busy.
No, this has been great.
Hopefully not too painful. I'm a lawyer, but I'm not going to cross-examine anybody. I try to be laid back and let you guys tell your story, and really learned a lot right off the bat. I didn't know what LemonGrenade was. We got a historical lesson right off the bat. But
all right.
Appreciate it. If you got anything to add, it's all yours. If not, we can let our camera guy off early today too. Even though he didn't even do any work for it. No contest, I guess. He did do work.
No, I don't think I have anything to add. Just we love being here in Hamilton, and we love what we do, and hopefully we'll be around for a long time.
We got to get a shot of the dog though, my buddy over here, Ray. Even got the yellow toenails to match the vibe and the brand.
So that is Ray. She's kind of a local celebrity. She's had drinks at local restaurants named after her. She's got her own bio page on our website. What's funny about her, clients every once in a while will walk in the door, and I'm like, oh, I didn't realize we had a meeting today. I'm like scrambling. I'm like, no, we're just here to see Ray.
Nice.
And there's been other times where clients get upset when Ray happens to be taking a mental health day, and she stayed home for the day. And they're like, where's Ray at? Well, she's not here today. Well, we'll come back.
Well, I appreciate her being my buddy during this interview.
Yeah.
She's been very well behaved. But Tommy, appreciate it. Thanks again, man.
Absolutely.
We'll see you around town for sure.
All right, thanks.
Get some shots of all his toys. He got some cool toys.